Welcome to our podcast where we look for opportunities in our lives to see a beautiful view. I'm Candy.
And I'm Paul. We would like to invite you to become members of our Patreon channel. If you're unfamiliar with Patreon, it's simply a way you can show your appreciation and support for the time and efforts we put into bringing you this podcast every 2 weeks. If you would like to support our efforts on a monthly basis, you too can become a member for only $5 a month.
And as a member, we'll send you a beautiful view sticker.
Yes.
You'll get a shout out on the show, receive an encouraging weekly newsletter, and from time to time, we provide exclusive content for our members.
Yes. We look forward to sharing with you today, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the beautiful view.
We could climb a mighty mountain, float on down a winding river, travel back in time and face our future too. Oh, I'm not scared of where I'm going, 'cause I know whose hands I'm holding. Oh, I'd go anywhere as long as you're going to. Well, I'd go anywhere as long as I'm with you.
Hello, guess what? We made it home to Bellevue, Iowa.
Finally.
Yay! When we planned to do our Beautiful View on the Road mini-series over the summer, we had no idea what our summer was about to hold.
No clue.
I think we ended up with some really fun episodes, though, in spite of everything. So if you haven't checked out our last few episodes, go check them out.
Yeah, when we started out, we knew that we were going to see the eclipse.
Yes, that's where it started.
That's where it started. So we were like, okay, so what we need to do is as we go on trips over the summer, we need to like put these together and record the podcast wherever we're at.
Yes, it seemed like a great idea.
It seemed like a great idea, and we would just thought like fun, travel, fun.
Yeah.
And there has been a lot of fun in there.
There has been a lot of fun.
But it definitely didn't go as we initially planned.
It did not.
No.
So that's okay, though.
Yes.
That's all right.
We have some exciting news for you today. We found out this last week that the Beautiful View podcast has been nominated in several entries for the Iowa Podcast Awards.
Yay! we seriously have no idea if, we're going to come anywhere close to actually winning anything.
No, we don't.
But what an honor to be included with that group of people. So the categories that we are nominees in are Host of the Year Ensemble.
Yes, the two of
me
us.
and me. And the Best Wellness and Relationship Podcast. And we are also up for the People's Choice Award, and that's where you can step in and help us.
Yes, it is. If you haven't voted for us yet, please go to iowapodcastawards.com/vote and then look up Beautiful View Podcast on the list and check the box. Make sure you scroll to the bottom and click vote after you've checked the box.
Yes.
We really appreciate your support.
The awards are in Cedar Rapids, Iowa on September 15th, and we will be there, and we'll keep you posted.
It's going to be fun. We're going to go and we're going to learn a lot from other podcasters around the state.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. Just meeting other people that kind of do what we do and
pick up some tips on what they do to put podcasts together. It's going to be a really great time to find that kind of rapport with other podcasters, because sometimes it feels like it's just us, and I know that's
we're
not
out here
true.
on an island on our own. Yeah, no, that'd be really cool.
Can you believe that the summer is over and school is about to start back?
I can't. I really can't. I feel like I have lost the last 4 months somewhere with everything that we've had going on. And now that we're back home, just trying to get back into a routine and find our new normal, and figuring out how to live together as a family again after being separate for so long, and just all of those kinds of things. And, I'm beginning to realize, like, going back to doing our calendar on the refrigerator and how many things our family of 4 is involved in on the regular.
Yes.
And so today we are going to be talking about Juggling life in a healthy way.
Yes, and we're by no means experts in this area, but we do realize we need to figure this out. So we're going to share with you a few things that we've experienced on both ends of the spectrum of juggling and some of the things that worked out for us.
Yeah, so how do you juggle all that life throws at you in a healthy way?
That is a big question. How do you juggle all that life throws at you in a healthy way?
Well, every one of us has different roles and different hats that we wear, right? Sometimes we wear one at a time. And sometimes we have an entire stack of them that we may wear all at the same time. We're going to make fashion statements. And I know that a lot of our listeners can relate as well to that. What are some of the hats that you wear?
Well, I have several different titles and roles, as we all do. So I am a dad. I'm a husband.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
A brother. I'm a son. I'm an uncle to all the nieces and nephews that we spent time with down on the coast.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I am a dog dad to 2 dogs, one of which is fast asleep underneath the cameras. So hopefully she doesn't
wake up suddenly and send everything
flying. That would not be good. I'm also co-manager of Sinar Media, our business. So I have responsibilities there too. I maintain our house.
You're the maintenance guy.
I'm the maintenance guy. And our vehicles, which as everything gets older, more of that needs to happen.
And our RV.
Our RV, yes. I am a home Bible study leader together with you. Podcast host, obviously.
Yes.
And I'm also a video and audio editor for our business and for the podcast.
Right.
I volunteer at the food share here in town.
Yep.
And I am still doing some pastoral duties, like as in giving pastoral advice to friends. And some of my friends are pastors themselves.
Yes.
And so it's really nice to have time to share with them some of their experiences and just, you know, it's a good opportunity to continue to pastor living here in Bellevue, Iowa.
Yeah. So do you feel like sometimes you wear multiple hats at a time? Do you feel like there's a lot of overlap in some of those jobs and responsibilities?
So just getting ready for the podcast today, of course, we both sit here with our laptops open and we both get our outline in front of us so that we can be ready to talk and stay on track. And as I did that, just like popping open the laptop, jumping on the Wi-Fi, instantly my to-do list, all of the pop up in the top right corner. I'm thinking of getting a piece of tape that's just big enough for the top right corner of my screen
to cover up
the notifications. And I mean, we record at the weekend.
Yes.
And so we're here on our weekend, and just in opening up our laptops, we get all of the notifications about the things that, you know, didn't get done last week that need to be done this week and so on. So yes, I think with the advent of cell phones, laptops, et cetera, we are all constantly reminded of things that we should have done or are about to do.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of hard to take a break.
Yeah.
So
I would
yes,
agree with that.
very aware of it.
Yeah.
So how about you? What roles and hats do you wear?
Well, obviously the wife and mom hat, my two favorites.
Yes.
You know, but also I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, an aunt.
Yep.
Again, I think being being Aunt Candy is probably like the next best thing to being a grandparent.
Yeah.
I love that role. That's one of my favorites too. I also am a dog mom and co-manager for our business. I do all of the actual businessy side of our administrative side of our business.
You do a good job.
And some content creation stuff too.
Yeah.
I do all of our finances, our home finances, our business finances, and I've also now taken on my parents' finances. And I work at our local brewery, which is a lot of fun.
She does, yeah.
I'm a home Bible study co-leader with you, podcast host, of course, with you.
Yes, because I wouldn't be doing this on my own. No.
There's that. I probably wouldn't either, though. So see,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm a writer and content creator, so I do write all of our podcast scripts and stuff after usually a little bit of brainstorming.
Yeah.
I volunteer at Food Share here in Bellevue. I'm
with a good team there of volunteers who show up every single weekend.
Yep. I am our cook at our house. I am our cleaner, our planner, and general chaos coordinator.
Yes, we can cause some chaos, can't we?
Yeah. That is a lot of hats to wear.
Yes, it is.
And these past several months, you know, I've even had to step into more roles. When my mom got sick, I added caretaker to that list.
Yes.
And when she passed, I had to step into roles dealing with like kind of financial and legal matters that I hoped that I wouldn't have to take on for quite some time. But here we are.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Life is complicated sometimes, and it can be really difficult to figure out how to balance everything out.
Yeah.
I felt very out of balance these past few months.
Yeah, I
Very
think we all have, but I know that you and the kids, that's been a real struggle with me being gone and having to try to find, you know, that new normal within
It's just
those
been
circumstances. It's
very, very different. We've been, the kids and I have been back and forth between Texas and Iowa. And so we wanted to still hit all of the main things that the kids wanted to do here.
Yes.
And so Emily started a new job. Tyler went to scout camp. He had several things that he wanted to be here for. But, you know, like the kids and I have, all three of us have been, you know, making an effort to keep the house clean. And so
trying to fill mom's roles.
Oh, there's no way. There is no way. So we've really missed having you here. And so on paper, it's like, okay, so we just need to make sure we clean up after ourselves, and we do this and we do that. And then it's like, there's a huge hole that we can't fill. Like the things get done, but life is just not the same without you. So it's been mixed priorities, but these things happen in life. You know, these
they
events
do.
come up.
And, you know, things have felt really out of balance for all of us. But here's the deal. It's not the first time for us either.
No.
We've been on both sides of the spectrum on this. We've had times where we were highly out of balance.
Yes.
And then we've had times where things have, you know, we've juggled things pretty successfully. So,
Yep. And that's been the times where we have gotten comfortable, I would say. Like when we got life in balance, we kind of get comfortable. Oh, like we're just doing the same things every week and so on and so forth. There's no big deal here.
Yeah.
And then usually that surprise, that's when something comes in and like upsets the whole thing. And then we have to figure out how to juggle these new priorities.
Absolutely.
So let's talk for a few minutes about some of the factors that can cause us to be unbalanced.
Yeah, I think there are certain things that I would consider like problems, right?
Yes.
That kind of come into our lives that kind of upset the apple cart, for lack of better terms. You know, I think one of those things, and something that I think you and I have both struggled with in the past, is overcommitting.
Yes.
So, you know,
it's hard for us to say no.
It is. It is hard to say no because you want to help, you want to step in, you want to do things, you want to make a difference. I think when you overcommit, you stretch yourself thinly, and that's tricky. You can't be all things to all people.
No.
And I struggle with that because I know that I want to be.
Right.
I want to be the best wife. I want to be the best mom. I want to be the best daughter, sister, aunt, friend, dog mom, you know, the best volunteer, the best employee. I want to be the best of everything to all people. And
that can be a problem.
That can be a problem.
Yes.
Because it stretches you thin. It is unsustainable because I can't be that all the time.
And that can lead to exhaustion.
Absolutely.
And that can be a huge problem because then we don't have anything for anyone.
Right. Yeah. And that's not a healthy place to be either. So,
and then when you get into those zones, then you start to not take care of your mental, physical, and spiritual health.
yes, which all three of those things are so very
Crucial.
important to keeping things in balance and to be a healthy person
Yes.
in general. So, and I think also sometimes we find ourselves giving too much thought to other people's expectations.
Yes, that's kind of one area that I am really weak at. Is I am often imagining what other people's expectations are, and that they're even paying attention,
Right.
You know? And so I'm like diligently trying to keep up with expectations that might not even really exist.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah,
that can
you're
be a problem
kind of your own
too.
worst enemy when it comes to that stuff
Exactly,
sometimes.
yeah.
So, yeah. And then, of course, we always have the unexpected life occurrences, things that just happen that life throws at us that can throw things off kilter for a while. So,
Which is what we've experienced over this summer.
yeah, absolutely. When we got home the other day, you made a comment that kind of resonated with me. You said, we came back here to Bellevue and all the plates are still spinning, but some of them are a little wobbly.
Yeah.
And that was like right on the money. I felt that
Yes,
absolutely.
It's kind of like so some of the plates you have to prioritize, and
Yeah.
so we're like busy sort of like keeping the sticks spinning, the plates spinning on the end of the sticks, and but the ones that that doing this business on the top of the stick. To get those back up again, I just sort of had this picture of like if you try and like immediately like wiggle the stick and get it
Real
going
fast,
again,
yeah.
like we want to jump back into our lives here in Bellevue and really get things going.
And in our family too. I
Yeah.
mean, because there's a lot of like, things that we did as a family when, from before
That we love to do.
that we wanted to just jump back into.
get
but,
going.
But the dynamics are a little bit different after being separated for so long. We're having to kind of learn how to zig and zag again a little bit for, lack of a better way of saying that. But
Yeah, so for those plates that are sort of wobbling, they've slowed down, they're wobbling on the sticks. If you like start to try and spin them up real fast, then they're just going to fall off the stick and
So we've
crash
kinda-
to the ground.
yeah.
So it's kind of like you
don't wanna
have
do
to. No, don't want to do that. So it's kind of like you have to kind of just gently catch the wobble and get those sticks and get the plates spinning again, just gently.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you said. Like when we got back, you're like, okay, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, but I need a week
I need a little bit of space
Some
just to
space
settle back in
to
and
figure out where
yeah.
we're at.
absolutely.
And I think that was a really good plan.
Oh, I think so too, and I'm really glad that I did that. I think there are two types of people. Would you say that? There
Yes.
is the giver
Yes.
and the guarded.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious what category our listeners fall into. I know where we fall, but I'd be curious to know. So if you feel like it, shoot us a message and it'd be interesting
Are you a giver
to know.
or are you guarded?
Or are you guarded?
Yeah, let us know about that.
Yeah, I think that for today, maybe not every day, but today, I think you and I both fall in the category of being a giver, which on the surface sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it
right?
sounds like we're like
givers.
We're good people, and
Yeah.
so we give. And that's the Bible even talks about. Jesus says that there's more pleasure in giving than there is in receiving.
Right.
And so on the surface, the act of giving can be a very positive thing. Oh, they're such giving people.
Yes, of course.
But with time and experience on our side, we have learned that that's not always the best thing.
Right. And a lot of times people that are givers, what we found is that you give and give and give of yourself, and then that kind of honeymoon phase wears off.
Yes.
And
Quickly.
then you find what you were doing out of the abundance of your heart and the overflow from what you had, it then becomes an expectation from other people. And that's when the giving isn't as easy. And then you start putting up some walls and
you overcorrect.
Yes, yes.
And then you become very guarded.
Very guarded. So it's interesting how that works. So how do you know if you're out of balance? Well, obviously we feel all the problems that come along with it. When you're out of balance,
you can feel that wobble.
You can feel the wobble. You can definitely feel the wobble.
Yeah, and so I talked about overcorrecting before. I don't know if it falls in the category of overcorrecting. We did, though, get to the point where we just opted out.
Mm-hmm. We had given and given and given and given until our
we had nothing
cups
left.
were dry.
We had nothing left. And so we opted out. We sold our house. We left our jobs, handed in our resignations. We pulled our kids out of school and school activities. You were on the PTO of the school and you pulled away from that. We moved away from the area in which we lived, and we left the traditional bricks and sticks way of life behind.
We kind of ran away.
We ran away.
We kind of ran away.
We dropped everything. We had to get out of there. We had passed our limits. Our mental health was not good. So what are we hoping to achieve today?
Well, I think our hope is to share some of the things that we learned through that process and, through our situation, and hopefully help other people find balance in their lives before it gets to that point of being out of hand, right? So
absolutely. So what we didn't do in our situation is we didn't adjust within it.
Right.
We talked about our roles. One of my roles is to maintain the house. Change out the filter in the furnace downstairs.
Right.
All those things. Like if something is sort of like not working properly, figure out why, replace things, parts, so on.
The idea of maintenance, though, is to find the problems before they become a problem, right? Find the potential problems before they become a problem.
You don't want to get to the point of failure.
Right.
If you don't change the filter in your furnace or your air conditioning unit, it's going to break.
It will.
And a filter costs a lot less than replacing an air conditioner or a furnace. So
absolutely.
So we're talking about maintenance today, proper maintenance, so that we can not get to that point where we completely break and we have to replace the whole thing.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. So that's what we want to try to avoid.
Yes.
So let's talk about how to break that cycle. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take an inventory. I know that sounds scary, but it's really not. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to pick a time where you can either sit down by yourself or with your spouse, and you're going to write down every single thing that takes time during your week. During any given week.
Yes.
Every single thing.
Everything. And then while you're doing that, take a note of how each thing makes you feel. Do you read the thing that you just wrote on your list and feel a sense of dread? Or do you feel like you want to get everything else done so you can just get to this one thing that you really want to do? So you might have things that come under the category of your work.
Sure.
There may be school activities, pets, exercise, times for spiritual and mental health, when maybe you take time to read a book or listen to a podcast, cooking, cleaning, volunteering, time with friends. Maintenance, family time. There's all different kinds of things that we can do. Make a list of all those things. Be honest with yourself.
Also remember, there are only 24 hours in every day.
Yes.
And really 8 of those we should sleep.
Ideally.
And that leaves a maximum of 16 hours in each day that you can give of yourself. Once you have that list of things that consume your time, what you're going to do is you're going to take a minute and you're going to pray over that list.
Yes.
Okay? That is really, really important. And then you're going to put them in order of importance or priority.
Yes. And then have an ongoing assessment of the roles and hats that you wear and ask yourself, can it be done differently? For a weekly commitment, ask yourself, could this be dialed back to every other week when you feel like you have the time and mental energy and space for it? The important thing is to not do things just because you feel like you're fulfilling the expectations of others. Be purposeful about what you do.
Absolutely. Have you factored in time to fill your cup?
Yes.
I mean, that is so important, to do things that bring you joy, to recharge your batteries. You can't healthily pour from a nearly empty cup. It just doesn't work that way.
No.
It's not sustainable. The drips at the bottom of your cup, they'll eventually run dry. I promise they will. And they're going to leave you feeling empty.
Yes.
So, but when you give from the overflow, these things come easy.
So the next thing to do is to take a look at that inventory list and then make a plan to achieve balance. You might have to dial things back a bit. Sometimes the lines get blurred between things that we have to do and things that we just find ourselves doing.
Absolutely. Are your kids in sports or activities that are a fight every single time?
Yes.
And it's draining everyone?
Yes. It is possible to find balance in your life, but it takes regular maintenance.
School has started back up in most places now, and life gets busy this time of year before we even know what's happening, right? Yeah. Now is the time to take this inventory,
Yes,
to perform a little maintenance on your life, to set some boundaries and make any adjustments that are needed to juggle your life in a healthier way.
yes.
Let's think about juggling for a minute, okay? I'm not a very good juggler, but
No.
let's just imagine, okay? It's very difficult to keep a dozen plates in the air, okay? Especially when we consider that some of the plates that we're throwing in the air are definitely plates we don't want to drop.
If you could juggle plates, would you want to risk your great-great-grandmother's heirloom dish alongside an inexpensive plastic plate you use for camping? Probably not. But that's exactly what we do a lot of times.
Yeah, when we live a lifestyle of juggling too many activities and responsibilities, we are going to drop things.
Yes.
We are. It's inevitable. Unfortunately, many times, though, it's the thing that is the most precious treasure of all, our relationship with God. When life gets too busy, the first plate that we often drop is our quiet time, our Bible reading, our prayer time, just our time with Him.
Yeah, I think that plate of time with God is always the thing that tends to go on the back burner. It's just like the immediate, the things that are right in front of us, the things that involve our kids, the things that involve the house and our business, and all those other things are the things that take higher priority. It's just a natural thing to happen.
Absolutely.
The second plate that we often allow to wobble too much is the plate that contains time with and for our families. These two plates should be treated as non-negotiable, holding them near and dear to our hearts as well as at the top of our schedules.
Yeah, in Matthew 22:36-37, Jesus responded to a question asked of him by religious leaders at the time who were trying to catch him out.
Yeah.
But they asked him, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" And Jesus replied, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and with all your mind." Love for someone, especially God, is not measured by good intentions, but by the choices that we make.
Yes.
Our time is our own to choose how we spend it.
So to sum this all up, when we prioritize and balance our time with prayer, intention, and wisdom, we don't have to juggle quite as hard. Understanding that there are seasons in life when juggling is inevitable,
Of course.
there are steps we can take to find a healthier approach to achieving balance.
And when we do this, it is truly a beautiful thing.
Yes. Thank you for joining us today. We hope that this was helpful. and gives you a few things to think about. So what's in the works for our next episode?
Well, in our next episode, we are going to be talking about Today is the Day. Doesn't that sound like fun?
It does, yeah, very positive.
I wrote a little poem blog thing quite a few years ago, and I think it's worth revisiting.
Okay.
And life is short. We only get one of them, right? So, and this year has been a great reminder to our family about that.
Yeah, that sounds like a great topic to cover.
Yeah. So if you know of someone who would enjoy this podcast, please point them in our direction. You can visit us at Beautiful View Podcast on Facebook or Instagram. Share our post, share the link to our podcast. Also, you can watch a video recording. Hello to our video viewers of our most recent podcast on YouTube. The link to that is also in our show notes.
Yes. Also, we would really appreciate it if you would follow, subscribe to, or leave a review for us on either YouTube or your favorite podcasting platform. These things are completely free for you to do, but really helps new people find the Beautiful View podcast.
Yes, and shout out to the Hopeful Few for the catchy theme song on our podcast. You can check out more of their music on Spotify or Apple Music, and they have just released a new song.
Yes, they have.
It's called Better Than I Deserve, and they released this to coincide with the birth of their new baby girl, Amy. So congratulations to
guys.
Tyler and Kelsey. We're so excited for you, and we just know that God has answered your prayers in this.
Yes.
Be sure to check out the Hopeful Few. The links are in our show notes.
If you have questions you would like us to answer or suggestions for things you would like us to talk about in our future podcasts, email us at beautifulviewpod@gmail.com. Also, please go to iowapodcastawards.com/vote and cast a vote for the Beautiful View podcast. We're excited about taking the trip to Cedar Rapids for the awards ceremony on September 15th. It's a great honor to be nominated, and we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, please consider joining the Beautiful View Patreon.
Yes.
This helps us keep the episodes coming and cover our costs. Memberships are only $5 a month. The link to sign up is in our show notes, and it's also on our social media accounts.
Yes, we hope you have a great day, and remember to always keep an eye open for opportunities in life to see a beautiful view.
We could climb a mighty mountain, float on down a winding river, travel back in time and face our future too. Oh, I'm not scared of where I'm going, 'cause I know whose hands I'm holding. Oh, I'd go anywhere as long as you're going too. And I'd go anywhere as long as I'm with you. Yeah, I'd go